The discussions within the Pokemon GO community has drawn towards XL candies for Legendaries and Mythicals. With the introduction of the new level cap a few months ago, many players have been anxiously anticipating leveling up their most powerful Pokemon to the new levels. Unfortunately, this is currently not realistically achievable, as so many players are reporting that even after doing several hundred, if not thousands of raids, they still cannot get enough XL candies to max out even one legendary. Now I see this as a big problem for Pokemon GO for several reasons, and I really feel like Niantic needs to do something here in order to alleviate a lot of the player frustrations, and that's really what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. So let's roll the intro and get right into it. How's it going, everyone? It's me, it's Count here with a brand new Pokemon GO video. Today I'm going to be talking about XL candies for Legendaries and Mythicals. I honestly think that Niantic is missing the mark here when it comes to this new feature. When they introduced the new level cap, the first thing that I thought about was leveling up all of my Legendaries to the new level cap. And unfortunately, I did not anticipate that the rate at which I could get XL candies would be low to this extreme. I mean, when it comes to leveling up your Pokemon, Legendaries are really where a lot of players are going to focus in on when it comes to dedicating resources like Stardust and XL candies. But as the game currently is right now, it's looking like it's going to be impossible even for the most hardcore players to max out several of their Legendaries. Now, I do think that that is intentional on Niantic's part. I do think that because of the big power boost that you get from maxing out a Pokemon to the new level cap, Niantic wants to make sure that players find this to be a very special achievement, and they do not want players to just flood their own Pokemon with a whole bunch of newly maxed out Pokemon. They really want to make it a feat of strength, and I do believe they recognize that having a whole bunch of maxed out Pokemon will trivialize a lot of the current game content. If, for example, every player were to have the new level cap for every single one of their Pokemon, then stuff like raiding and Team Go Rocket battles would instantly become mundane and overly easy, and I really feel like Niantic is not seeing the picture correctly. What they really should be doing is making the new level cap more accessible while also fine-tuning their gameplay so that it matches up with that. If players are receiving power spikes, then the gameplay should get harder in order to match up with it. And unfortunately, this isn't the direction that Niantic is taking. Whether or not it's because the game is meant to be more casually centric, I just feel like Niantic is not fine-tuning their game to its fullest potential. Because yes, some would argue that this is a monetization scheme, that the reason why they're making XL candies so rare is because they want to cash in on raids and different things like that. Like, for example, we recently had Kyogre and Groudon released into raids, and if it wasn't for XL candies, I honestly don't think that Niantic would see a revenue spike like they probably did. A lot of players that I know of were not in need of really good IV Kyogres and Groudons, and a lot of them weren't necessarily interested in the shinies, but because of XL candies, they went out and raided en masse. This is obviously a new motivation for players to actually go out and raid, even if they do not need a particular raid boss. And I do believe Niantic is fully aware of that, and that is why they made the rate at which we get XL candies extremely low. But I do think there is a Goldilocks level that they need to achieve. When it comes to XL candies, there is a point where it's just excruciatingly a grind, and even players who have spent thousands of dollars raiding thousands of raids are not even getting enough to max out even one of their Legendaries. And this is something that I feel like Niantic never takes into consideration, especially when it comes to hardcore players. A lot of people want to max out multiple copies of one particular Pokemon. Niantic tends to think that people will only care about one copy of a particular Pokemon as opposed to multiple copies, but that's just simply not the case. Like, when it comes to raid battles, a lot of people will use the same 6 copies of one particular Pokemon because it is simply the best when it comes to raid DPS. Like, for example, right now while I'm raiding Entei, a lot of people are using 6 Kyogres in raids. Occasionally someone will use the outlier like a Mega Blastoise, but usually you will see just nothing but Kyogres. And considering that some of the hardcore players are reporting online that they did thousands of raids of Kyogre and they were not even able to get 200 XL candies, it's going to be near impossible for any player player to actually get enough XL candies to max out 6 Kyogres. And this is something that Niantic needs to take into consideration. I mean, when it comes to XL candies, there's plenty of solutions that they could do. The obvious solution is that they should just simply increase the rate at which we get XL candies. Honestly, they don't even need to double the rate. They just need to increase it just ever so slightly to the point where it reaches that Goldilocks level. Now, what I'm not saying here is that the grind to the new level cap should equal the grind to the old level cap, because like I said earlier, there is a big power spike reaching the new level cap, so I do think there has to be some sort of a grind to it. But what I am saying is that Niantic needs to take into consideration that players are more focused on multiple copies of one Pokemon rather than one Pokemon of each individual species. For example, if you are raiding Kyogre, then there will be a time where you will run into a Kyogre that's just going to be a lot more powerful, or it's going to have a new exclusive move, rendering some of your old Kyogres just obsolete. So let's say you max out your best Kyogre right now, well, sometime down the line, maybe even while you're farming for those XL candies, you're going to come across a Kyogre that's even better, and you're going to have to restart that grind in order to power up your new, more powerful Kyogre. See, these are the things that I really feel like Niantic is not considering when they're creating these different rates. Now, of course, there is that lingering question mark around Rare Candy XL. We still haven't seen a big rollout of this one particular item, and I know that in the future when Niantic does roll out this item, and if they do it correctly, then it could fix a lot of these issues. But as the game currently is right now, the rate at which we get XL candies from Legendaries and Mythicals and raids, it's just abysmally low. I really think Niantic needs to take a look at this and adjust the rates accordingly, or they need to speed up the release of Rare Candy XL, because I honestly think that when it comes to these XL candy grinds, a lot of hardcore players are starting to get fed up, and they are likely not going to raid a Pokemon, mainly because they are just fully aware of how long and tedious the grind actually is. I mean, a lot of players are spending their hard-earned money in order to do these raids, so I really feel like Niantic needs to throw them a bone here. And yeah, I'm fully aware that this is a brand new feature, and we just simply do not know how Niantic is going to fine-tune it over time, but I just feel like the voice of the community needs to be addressed right now. At the very least, I feel like Niantic needs to communicate with their community that they are fully aware of player frustrations, and they need to address and they need to make us as a community aware that they are working on it and they plan to make very positive changes to it in the future. This is something they did with Mega Evolutions last year. Of course, a lot of players were very frustrated with how Mega Evolutions were rolled out, but Niantic communicated with the community that they are taking our feedback and they are looking into improving the system, and I actually feel like they did. And I really feel like the same thing can happen for XL candies. They just really need to communicate with the community to kind of alleviate a lot of that frustration. But yeah, anyway, these are just my thoughts and opinions regarding XL candies. I know a lot of players are frustrated, and I know I talked about my own frustrations, but I do want to give Niantic the benefit of the doubt. I do think that this system is still pretty early, and eventually we're going to reach a point that it is going to be like that Goldilocks level. It's not going to be too difficult, but it's not going to be too easy in order to max out your Pokemon. But yeah, we haven't reached that point yet, and I really hope we do soon, but I would love to know your thoughts regarding XL candies down below. Do you have enough XL candies to max out one of your legendaries, or are you extremely frustrated with how the system currently is? Let me know, let's have a great discussion, and I am Count Jinsula. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Be safe, have fun, and I'll catch you all later.